Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're watching, whatever time you're watching it. Welcome to Famhope's very first podcast, where we discuss, analyze, and showcase the problems plaguing society, plaguing the individual, and identify as well as implement any viable solutions to promote healthier individuals that contributes to a healthier society. Here at Famhope Psychotherapy and Consultancy, we offer core services that revolve around prevention, intervention, and specialized services depending on the client's needs. Today with me in studio, we have some very important guests and to discuss a very important topic, and that topic is titled Men, Culture, and Mental Health. I am looking forward to having an enlightening, respectful, insightful, and possibly transformative conversation with my guests today. So, for my far left, I would kindly ask you to introduce yourself with your name, various roles you play in life, and your connection to the topic today.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you for this opportunity to have this very meaningful conversation. Loise Muriuki is my name. I'm a wellness advocate. Uh, I promote mental wellness and empower individuals to be able to navigate life challenges with confidence, with hope, and with a purpose. And today I am here to represent the voice of the society because men live in a society, and this society plays a very big role in determining how their mental health is shaped. So thank you, and I'm glad to be here.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Lois. Next.
My name is Kelvin Odek, and thank you for the opportunity. Um, Kelvin Odek, a father, a husband, but also a mental health advocate in terms of just pushing mental health for men, just to create that awareness, but also an author. Yeah, so I'm here to speak on, to give the voice for men and just create that safe space where men can be able to talk and just share what they're going through with no fear, no judgment, but yeah, basic conversations.
I see. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Deck. Thank you very much, Mrs. Lois. It's a pleasure to have you here at
Thank you.
Farm Hope.
Thank
I'm
you.
looking forward to the conversation, and let's just start right into it. I mean, we are halfway through Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Father's Day is coming up. And I'm wondering, from your point of view, do you think that there has been enough awareness for men's mental health, both for the men and for society as a whole? Um,
On to you, Madam Lois.
all right, Madam Lois, go
All
ahead.
right. I think mental health awareness, there's been an improvement.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's been a good improvement on the awareness, and especially with the social media, the current trend of social media. There's a lot of information and easily accessible through social media. Nevertheless, I still feel like we can do more. Yeah, we can do more because in as much as there's that increased awareness, the uptake is not as good.
Mhm.
So then we need to
See.
look at why is the uptake not as good? The men are getting that information. Are they accessing it? And if they're accessing it, why are they not seeking help then?
I see. Interesting point from the societal lens, I see. Now let's hear how a man views it.
I think because you asked I saw two questions there.
Yes.
So there's mental health,
Yes.
but also looking at Father's Day that is coming. Okay.
Yes.
I think we are trying,
Mm-hmm.
okay, to create awareness, but we've not gotten the niche of how to create that awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In fact, when you talk about mental health for men, and especially let's say in Africa, it's
Mm.
not we're not there yet. We talk about it, but in passing. Okay, it's not on the faces of people. I was joking this past few days with someone, and I was like, because we're doing an event for Father's Day, and I was like, why haven't you put up posters or something to show that Father's Day is coming?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, then someone asked, But what if it was not in a bad way? Mother's Day.
The
Every place
whole world would know
Interesting.
about
be,
it,
Yeah,
right?
you get,
yeah.
and that already raised a question, because already if you're not talking about it,
Mhm,
people will not be aware that these things are happening.
True.
Okay,
mhm,
if the
Mm,
spaces where need to create that awareness
mhm,
are already silent, okay, even the man around will not know something is coming.
mm,
And so, yes, we are trying, but as you said, we
mm,
can do much better when it
mm.
comes to these conversations,
That's true.
this awareness.
mhm.
Yeah, we can do way better.
Okay, I see, I see. I mean, from what I'm hearing is that there is a place we want to be,
Mm,
but there is a place we are at right
Yes.
mm.
now. So that leads me to my next question, which is what is the current state of men's mental health?
Mm. I can say it's changed, because there's a time no one knew that even they're struggling, or
Mhm,
about this mental
mhm,
health thing.
mhm,
In fact, there was a season, if you came up, in those days when you found someone talking by themselves,
Mm.
one of the things you think is this person is already crazy.
Yeah, you're
yeah.
Okay,
right.
like
Yeah.
there's already labeling that was happening.
Mm,
Mhm,
I can say for sure that people have started now identifying this. When there's a certain behavior,
mm,
there's an identity to it,
mhm,
which is good. I can say it's a good place. Okay, and also men starting to understand that this is not weakness. It's just that you're going through a season, or you're at a particular place that you're
mm,
not okay.
mm,
Okay, so I can say there's a time that no one knew,
mm,
but now there's a name to
mhm.
it, where
Okay.
you can actually say, I see someone going through this, and I can clearly say maybe their mental health is not okay.
Mhm,
Something is not okay. You can pin something to it, not like in the earlier years of life.
mhm.
Yeah.
I see.
mm.
Okay. How about you, Mrs. Lois? How do you think you would describe today's men's mental health?
I will say yes. There are issues with men's mental health, yeah, and mainly so today they're becoming more prevalent, yeah. Things like anxiety, things like depression, these mental health issues, they are there. And as Mr. Odek mentioned, is that today's man is aware that and is at the point of having been informed these
Mhm,
issues are there,
mhm,
and so they are aware of themselves, and they're aware that it is normal. It's not, they're not stigmatized, so they're working away from that stigma
mhm,
and being able to get the support that they need. So the issues are there, yes. The men are getting that awareness, yes, and the society is slowly working towards helping
mhm,
them get that help that they need.
mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's lovely, lovely, lovely to hear that at least we are not where we were. At
Yes.
least people are getting more aware,
Mm,
specifically men.
mm.
And Mr. Deck, you had mentioned that you're a writer, and I happened to have read that book. And I'm curious, did you go through any mental health struggles, mental health
Yes.
issues?
And I think that's what even led to now the book itself. Because there are times you go through seasons, but you never understand the season you're in.
Mhm,
There are times you go through depression, anxiety, but you don't understand, because everyone is telling you,
mm,
you need to. It's normal. In fact, that's the
mm,
language. It's normal to go
Mm,
through this
mm,
season,
mm,
but you see some things. Either you're dipping too much, or you're on the high a lot. So you could see some tendencies.
mhm,
And so even with that book, for me, was just a way of expressing the pain, the heart, the situations I've been in, but now seeing the end goal, which how I was able to move not past it.
mhm,
And yes, I can say I've gone through my own seasons.
mhm,
I've been in that deep.
mm,
I've been in those highs.
mhm,
Okay, and there was a point I never understood.
mhm,
Okay, until where you start digging deep. What is this that is going on? In
mhm,
fact, for me, it's it had to be in a conversation where someone has gone through it for me to actually identify and say, oh, this is actually what it is.
mhm,
mm,
Okay,
mhm.
because I think if I had not gone through that, I wouldn't have a word or a name for whatever I was going through.
I see.
But until I had someone speak about it and open up, and everything that they were talking about was talking about the
mm.
where I am,
What
or
you're
the
going
things I'm
through.
going through,
Mm,
and I realized, oh, this is actually what it's called.
Mhm,
Yeah, and so yeah, so that's mainly I've gone through it,
I see.
I've
mm,
experienced it,
Mhm,
and I have seen someone can come out of that space.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. I mean, if you don't mind, so do you think now you know the name to it? Was it depression? Was it anxiety? Was it suicidal thoughts?
Mine had both depression and suicidal thoughts.
I see.
Okay, so
Okay.
it was not just that you can be depressed, and in Kenya we say, or generally as a man, there are things that can lead you to depression when you don't have money.
Uh-huh.
True.
Uh-huh.
That's the main thing.
That's the main
Oh,
thing.
very
Uh-huh.
But
true.
there was that. It was depression and suicidal thoughts,
Mhm.
which almost happened. The
Mm.
suicidal thoughts almost
Happened.
happened,
Yes. Yes.
or they came to pass,
Mhm.
because there were thoughts going through my mind.
Mm.
I was in a state that you're thinking things are not working out. You're not feeling as if people like you, or,
Mm.
that you're a loner.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm,
that even as you push to be around people,
Mhm.
you're still lonely. You're
mm,
still in a very dark space,
Yeah.
and that led to now feeling then I'm not needed.
mm,
I see.
Okay,
Mhm.
because sometimes it can get you to a place where you're mainly seeking attention
Yeah.
mm,
without knowing.
Without
mm,
knowing.
Okay,
It's
because
true.
and
It's
the
true.
attention you're seeking is being close to people,
Yeah.
mm,
being just being the loud one,
Mm.
being the voice of the party, and people
Mhm.
thinking, oh,
mm.
what is it with this guy?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But you're in
Certainly.
just a space where you're trying to even understand yourself.
Mhm.
You're trying to know what is happening in my body or in my mind.
Mhm.
What am I going through? And so, because when you don't find it, then you tend to go the other direction when you're saying, because the thoughts are there, they keep on
Mm.
coming in, but you're like, what if I actualize it?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I don't have, there's no meaning to life.
Mm.
There's nothing I'm offering to these
Mhm.
people. So if I do it, no one will miss
No
me.
one
No
will
one
miss.
missed you.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
so you find yourself grappling with that and fighting that in your mind, and you don't understand. You also don't understand the season.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Those are one of the lies that depression
Mm.
tells to us, and the suicidal thoughts are just creep in even louder and louder. And I'm glad you're able to make it through. But maybe, Miss Lois, do you have a family member or a man or anyone in your life who might have struggled in some way? And were you able to observe anything during that period of struggle for them?
Yes, for sure. Thank you for sharing your story, Mr. Diek. And as you're talking, what I was relating with is when you mentioned that you're seeking for help, which other people could misinterpret by the way you are
Attention.
carrying yourself.
Mm,
They'll be like, "Ai, huu naye ni nini?"
mm,
And depending on especially the setup that was happening around, it could have been easily been dismissed as maybe you're misbehaving,
mm,
you're not taking up your rightful position maybe as a father or as a husband.
mhm,
It's very easily to get that misjudgment. Yeah,
mm,
I have been there as a society.
mm,
I have seen somebody struggle,
mm,
and we have all even heard and seen, even in the news and in the medias, yeah, where probably a man committed suicide, and then the question becomes is why was there nobody
yeah.
noticing? Were there any signs?
Signs.
Didn't anybody see this
Yes.
happening? Yeah. And I like it when you say that you're able to see yourself through somebody else, that
Mm,
somebody talked about what they're going through, and you're able to align your symptoms or whatever you're going through
mhm,
with them, and then come to that point of realizing I could be dealing with this.
mhm.
Yeah. Because with matters like depression, most of the time it is an outsider who notices
Yes.
that this
Yes.
somebody is going through something.
Mm,
Yeah. I mean, it's not usual that my husband, I'll leave him in the house sleeping, and I come back in the evening, he's still sleeping, the curtains have not been drawn,
mm,
and I still assume it's okay.
okay. Yeah.
No, it's not okay.
Mhm,
Yeah. So, and us as the society, if we are not keen enough, because we are the first person to observe
mm,
and bring it out
Mm.
in a good way,
mhm,
in a concerned way,
mhm,
then that's where we are getting men lost
mm,
and getting to the point of excess or a lot of suicidal thoughts, or
mhm,
even getting to the rock bottom,
Yes.
where they do
yes.
things that they should not have
Yeah,
gone to that
like
point.
drugs
Yeah.
and other coping
Yeah.
mechanisms. Okay, thank you. So from everything that I'm hearing, I liked that you had mentioned something about expectations and people maybe misjudging or misconstruing those issues that a man could be going through. And moving on to kind of the next part of this conversation, it has to do with the socialization of young boys and men. So, first question would be, what cultural messages affected you the most, Mr. Odek, knowing we are quite the culture rich society,
Yeah.
yeah, in Africa and in Kenya. So,
Mhm.
what are some of these cultural messages that you might have fallen for that maybe worked throughout your life, but then just suddenly didn't work for you?
So I think for some time, and let me say maybe even living a lie in terms of when you're told, a man always has to figure it out.
Mm,
Okay, there's no space for saying I don't know what to do here, or I need help in this space.
True.
It was always figure things out.
Mm.
And that's because, again, it's something I saw my dad, he saw his dad do. And so it's you keep on,
continue.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so anytime you'd come to a space like that, you'd be like, no, it's not for me to share. It's for me to figure out and then come and share when things are good. Okay. That's one of the things that even affects the society till today. Okay. I think I don't know how many of us have seen this when a child falls between a girl and a boy. Okay, the girl is taken quickly, carried.
Yeah.
Okay, and they're told, no, mommy. The young man falls. Everyone is like, please look aside, msimuangalie." Because they need to be strong. If you look at them, they'll cry. Okay, and that's the same thing that we carry even
To adult.
to adulthood,
Yeah.
where you're like, no one should see my tears.
True.
Okay. In fact, the longest time I used to ask my dad if he has tears because
You never seen
I've
them.
never seen them.
Wow.
Okay, until I saw them, I was shocked. Okay, so but those are two things that I can pinpoint which have shaped how I viewed being a man. Like, yeah.
Okay, and I'm assuming that because of this socialization and the social norms, I'm assuming that this is why many men might lack emotional support systems. Because I'm just looking back and thinking of how many kind of gatherings there are for women and
Sorry,
mothers,
I
chama.
was going to ask her, like, if you think about it, someone asked this question. They asked, we were in a group of men, and they asked each man, how many chamas are you in?
Yes.
And all the guys looked, like, chama.
Chama.
But if
You
you ask
only
a
have,
lady
if you
that,
ask a lady.
how many chamas are you in? They're like, they'll count.
Exactly.
They will count. I have this, I have this, I have this. And
Yes.
these are not just places, it's places where they socialize, they talk, and they
Yes.
build each other.
Yeah.
Okay, but men only, most times when you build each other, it's in clubs.
Mm,
Okay, that's where we go and hang out.
yeah. Yeah.
It's not in a place where you're talking about how are you feeling,
Yeah.
and all that.
True.
Yeah. So that we struggle with that when it comes to smaller groups, setups,
Yeah.
and all that, because even if you go to the barber, you're going to sleep. You're like, let him, like, me, I've not gone for stories. If you ask me how am I doing, I'm good.
Yeah.
But why?
Do your job.
Why is that the case? Why do men seem to just lack these support systems as opposed to women who seem to have a very tight knit in all of these different areas?
Because even in our homes, we never had conversations.
Mm,
If you think about it, even in our homes growing up, we never had conversations. It was conversations were based on, have you done this? Yes. What it was straight to the answer. So there's no small talk with our parents or with our fathers. Okay. And because I don't think there was a time I sat down with my dad and we had stories to talk about. Okay. So this is what I carry even in my adulthood. When I go to a place, there's no small talk. Especially if I don't know you, I don't start talking about the things I'm going through.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Okay. How different maybe is this for the women, for the girl child? I mean, do you see things the same way, that the way Mr. Deck has described, or do you see it as something else, maybe another explanation?
As he has said that upbringing plays a very key role. That internalization, that's being told you're strong, boy, you're supposed to be strong. Kwa nini unalia? I have a 9-year-old, and at times I catch myself before I just tell him you're strong. And I remember, no, we are trying to allow them to have emotions and to freely express themselves. And that's something that men were not allowed to do that. Yeah. Freely say, today I'm feeling sad. Today I'm feeling happy. Why are you feeling happy? Even just getting to expound on that, which is something ladies do. When we meet, we just don't say, I feel happy. I feel happy because I went and, ABC. Then that's how you learn to express your emotions. And unlike men, as you mentioned, the interesting thing is my dad, I've never hugged him.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
And I believe that's societal, that's a cultural thing.
Expectation,
Yeah.
yes.
Where you're not even supposed to come close to, I don't know where I grew up, that was the case. Even handshake was sort of you're not really supposed to handshake. And so you can imagine a boy growing up in that era. Yeah, a man, and at the point he's a man, he'll not know how to share these emotions with his children. And you're told to hug and love on these children. And if you're not being able to do that, then you're passing the same thing to that child.
Yes.
The same thing of being strong, the same thing of you're supposed to provide some of the things that us women expect you men to do again. You're supposed to provide. And so when he's not providing, it becomes an emotional burden on him. And he doesn't know how to talk about emotional burden. So it becomes a roller coaster of things,
of issues,
of issues.
compound.
Yeah.
I see. I like that you brought in different members of the family, of the society. You've talked about your father, your child. And so this brings in the aspect of relationships and what is expected based on the cultures we're from, the societal norms. So how do these, you've already expounded a bit on the relationship structure, but then how does it affect now moving on? You've grown up in this society, and now you're expected to be a normal functioning human adult in all of these other relationships. So how does that affect now men's mental health and relationships that they eventually must form?
What it does is that it really puts a lot of pressure on a man. I'd say that. Yeah? It really puts a lot of pressure on a man that he has to provide for his family. I'm trying to imagine a situation where a man has been laid off. We have had these issues a lot. Yeah? A man has been laid off. He has a wife. He has children. And the society still expects him to still provide for this family, to make sure that that rent is paid, that school fees is paid. And mark you, probably the wife is earning. Yeah, but still, it's expected that he should figure out how the family is going to live. Yeah, and that's really puts a lot of pressure on these men. And remember, they've not been taught to voice their emotion. They've not been taught healthy coping mechanism. So what do we see? This man will go start hanging out with some funny people. Start hanging out in places he never used to hang out. Why? And then again, even after this job loss, he didn't get to process that loss. Remember, it's a loss in itself, with a lot of emotion and distress. He never got to process that emotion. So probably picks up unhealthy coping mechanisms. Yeah. Then what does that do? It puts more pressure on him. It strains his relationship with the children, with the wife, with his other larger family. Yeah. So it becomes like the beginning of the downfall of this man. Yeah. But the wife is looking like, si hata hajaribu, kwa nini atafikiri kufanya? That's what what we will say. What we will say.
Thank you for being honest.
Yeah. But instead of instead of looking at him with all those eyes of this somebody who's just lost a job, let me support him, let me listen to him, let me validate his emotions and be his safe space. even as he tries to figure that out.
Mm.
Yeah. So that really lacks.
Mm.
And because of that, we're having this conversation.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we're having this conversation.
Mm.
And it's important. It's important not just for the men today, but for the men that we're also bringing up,
Mm.
the men who are looking for a model
Mm.
to then implement in their own lives. Maybe Mr. Odek, you can expound more on just this relationship aspect. How has it changed and formed your perception on what your role is in all of these different relationships?
I think for me, it's okay, as much as there's where I came from, but now understanding who I am, I've realized there's a space where genuine having conversation, and your family is the closest to know this. There's a story of this guy who lost his job, and for 6 months, his wife did not know he had lost his job.
Wow.
He used to wake up every morning,
Mm.
dress up, wear his suit, go as if he's going to work, and come back in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Until I think they bumped into each other in town,
Yeah.
and then the wife's like, "Unafaa ukuwe kazi." Yeah.
Mm.
And they didn't know. And you can imagine how that now strained it. There's two things there. He was not comfortable to share with his wife what he's going through.
Mm.
There's also the society looking at him as the man
Mm-hmm.
that you have to do these things. I think for me, is now to change that, even with how I live with my wife, my children, that when I'm not able to, they know.
Mm.
There's that openness for this is what is happening,
Yeah.
but we are working towards this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I think sometimes because of how we were raised or how things happened, there's that fear.
Yeah.
Because the moment I stop providing, then my title as a man is taken away.
Mm-hmm.
The moment I don't do some things, then the things that are stripped away from me,
Yeah.
and people start looking at me differently.
Mhm.
And changing that and saying, even if I don't have this for now, I still remain to be your husband.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I still remain to be the father of our children.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm still that protector.
Mhm.
Because one of the things we forget is that sometimes these are just titles we carry
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Okay, and we've not allowed men to find themselves outside the titles,
Mhm.
and that's when things become crazy, then they also lose themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Because who are you if you're
yes,
not working,
yeah,
right?
because that's all we've been taught to do.
Mm.
Okay, when you're in school, you're told you better get good grades. Why?
Mm.
Okay, so that you can be on
Get
top
a
of the
good job.
class.
Yeah.
job.
Okay, when you feel like there's
Yes.
always something,
Something.
but you don't know yourself beyond. If these things are not there, who am I?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's I think is a big issue. That's lack of identity beyond what it is you do. Who are you beyond
What you have as well.
what you have and what you do? I think the COVID period was a good time for people to sit down with themselves and ask themselves those tough questions. But we're still here asking ourselves those tough questions because it's an ongoing process.
Yeah.
And so far, I think we've talked about a number of things from the individual, how they were brought up, to the family setup, the relationships. We talk about community, that's the workforce and your extended family in general. And then there's the society. And there are all of these different factors that play into affecting men's mental health, mental wellness. But if we were to really dig deep and figure out what is the biggest contributor, or what is this one thing that at least would help steer men's mental health in a better direction. I know you mentioned about communication and just simply talking. I mean, that's why psychotherapy centers like this are here, because talk therapy can do wonders. So there's that, but what is the root problem or the biggest contributor that we can maybe address or raise a concern so that people can slowly work towards improving their mental health as men, and also from the societal point of view to acknowledge these are human beings just like the women, just like the children. Yeah, so I don't know, maybe Lois, you can start by speculating. What is the biggest contributor to men's
I think
mental illness?
From my experience, I'll say self-awareness plays a very key role. And I have seen men struggle with self-awareness more, unlike women. Not to say women don't, but many men don't even know who they are. Yeah. So they are out here, going through life without a clear core self-concept. Like, who am I? What are my values? What are my beliefs? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Yeah, because in so doing, you're able to ground yourself as a man. Yeah, because a grounded man will be able to see things when they're coming. I'm losing my job. What do I need to do? Yeah, you'll be able to call yourself for that kamkutano, which women are very good at doing. You'll call yourself for that kamkutano and see, I don't think I'm on the right path. Yeah, and so I would advocate that there are so many, even I think, tests that can be taken, and even just looking back from where you're coming from as a man, because we are where we are coming from. Yeah, just taking that inventory of this is how I was raised, and because of this I was raised, this is how I kind of think and process my things. And honestly, we have to embrace that because that is part of who we are. And so then see what are the things that I need to drop because they are no longer serving the greater good, and what are the things that I need to pick. Yeah. So if you are raised in a culture where men and women cannot sit on the same table to eat food, then you need to change that because you need to sit around your dinner table and have that open conversation with your children, like, hi, how was your school today? Yeah. So for me, I'll think self-awareness is critical.
Self-awareness.
Yes.
Yeah, and those simple everyday conversations,
Yes.
because they build up. They do build up
They do.
to form that self-concept of who you are. You're a father, you're a son, you're a worker in some kind of way, or even beyond that, you're creative, you're analytic, you can do this and that outside whatever job it is that you have. Odek, what do you think about that?
I think for me, for men, they need to go back to loving themselves first.
Okay.
Because I think they're so caught up with many responsibility that they forgot how to love themselves. And that brings now the place where they find themselves when things crumble, they don't know how to deal with it. Because they've never focused again on themselves. They've always grown up this, thinking about responsibilities and all those things. But also the other key thing is the aspect of community.
Yeah.
And it's not just community where it's genuine community that you can be open with. Because even if you look back to culture where if circumcision was to happen, you do it with a particular group of people. Okay, but even in that time, there's usually no crying.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You have to be toughened. Okay, when you live there, they say you've done life together, but still you can't be open. Okay, so we need to now create those genuine communities for men, for younger men, so that they know there's a place that I don't have to show my muscles. I can be myself. Okay, and this notion that there's always have to be solutions. We need to remove that and say, can you just come and find a place to talk? Okay,
why is it so hard for men to talk?
Because we are told how we always taught how to find solutions. So when I'm coming, I don't share my problems. Okay,
possible solutions.
Possible solutions. Okay, and that's why, because I need to go in a place with a solution. So I used to have a boss who used to tell me, okay, you've shared your problems, so what's the solution? So you have to always go with a solution. Okay, but what I'm talking about is a space that you can just be open and say, hey, this is what has been going on this week. Okay, and be honest with yourself. And no judgment for, okay, now we know this is where you are. Okay, because I don't think men don't want to share. It's that there's no space to be honest, to be open.
And they also don't know how to share.
Yes.
Because I've seen cases where men are having a men thing, yeah, and you expect that they will touch some certain issues, but they just don't. They'll go cars, they'll go football, they'll go
but nyama choma lazima kuna ule anajitolea kuonyesha venye anajua kuchoma nyama.
But they will never get to the core of the matter.
Yes,
that's true. That's true. It's because it's not expected.
Mm.
Okay,
Mm.
and there's no one to start up that conversation.
I see.
Okay, because
Mm.
the person who's supposed to be leading does not know how they're supposed to lead other people. Then
Yeah.
they'll go back to what I know best. Yeah.
Mm. Wow.
Wow. I see. I see. I mean, that's why spaces like this exist. And I know, Mr. Deck, you're doing something with men's mental health,
Yes.
where that's the space I
Yes.
assume you're
Yeah.
talking about. And
Mm.
this is also the space. So far we've talked about the reality of men's mental health,
Mm.
the socialization aspect of it that results to who we are today, and the contributors, which is you've pointed out that self-awareness is a
Mm.
big thing, and self-love, to
Mm.
simply love yourself, and community, strive for community, just talk, and to stop avoiding the core issue and just go for the core issue, right?
Yeah.
So now let's move on to figure out some practical, maybe solutions, maybe advice, maybe things that we've done that has already worked that we can recommend to our viewers, recommend to ourselves. And now we want to talk about the contributors to mental wellness for men. So I can maybe start with you, Mr. Odek. What kind of support made the biggest difference for you, especially when you are struggling with mental illness?
Mine was finding a community of brothers who were always available, but I didn't know. Okay. Until
Interesting.
until you get into that pit and you try to look for someone to remove you out, is when you ask for help is when you realize, oh, there are people who are there,
Oh, they were
and then there are
always
people who are
there.
just there for photos. Okay.
Mm.
So realizing that there are people who are available, and constantly asking myself the question again, am I available for others?
Mm.
Okay.
Interesting.
Because I found a friends who, and that's how I've now created like my friendships,
Mm.
in terms of having people who I know genuinely care about me and I care about them. Okay, that way I know I can call them, those who are
Many
hours of the
times,
night, and
yes.
they'll respond to my call and
Mm.
not be like it's busy. Okay, they'll be like, you, I will answer and I'll show up. Okay, so one, those were key, but also being in a space where I'm not lying to myself, but I'm cognizant of what I'm going through, recognizing those patterns as well. Because there's a way you can try hide and be like, no, I'm okay. Okay, and to a point you don't want to, you look at it and you're like, no, I'm not in this space.
Yeah.
But just that realization and constantly reminding myself, okay, anytime you can fall, but always having people around you can ask you, hey,
Mm.
how are things? How are
Yeah.
you feeling? That question,
Mm.
which we
How are
don't
you really
How are
feeling,
you
feeling,
not just
really
not
fine and
fine.
move
Okay,
on. Yeah.
and being in a space where you can be able to open up and be, yeah, this is what's going on.
Mm.
Okay. Ms. Lois, given today's social realities and expectations, I
Mm.
mean, this is all good in theory when we say it aloud, but there are certain social realities and expectations that still exist and probably will continue existing. So, but even when that is happening, there's a lot of voicing out of men should do this, men should improve, men should just talk and
Mm.
open up.
Mm.
But what traits do you think are essential for these men to remain emotionally and physically healthy?
Mm.
So yes, talk, okay, and then after talking, what do you expect this man to then look like? What are these tangible characteristics or traits do you think men should strive to have?
Okay. um, Last week I had somebody was talking about the whole issue around men's mental health, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and he was saying the fact that men have been reduced to male providers,
Mm-hmm.
and even men themselves, they carry themselves with that one role.
That's it.
So they believe that as long as I'm providing for my family, then I am man enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But then he gave an example of, imagine as a man, you married Dangote's daughter. She does not need any provision.
Yes.
Yeah.
What role are you going
So
to play?
who will you be to that woman for
Mm,
her again to submit to you?
mm,
Women submit to leadership. They submit to authority. They submit to people who will elevate them. Yeah. So the question is, as a man, how can you get there? If that provision role was stripped away from you, what is left of you? And I believe then that forms the core traits that you're talking about. How is your emotional intelligence? Are you afraid of getting into those deep conversations? Because men are really afraid of that. Or will you face them head on? Yeah. Are you able to have that, they say, let's agree to disagree kind of conversations with the aim of trying to see the other person's point of view. Yeah. How are you taking care of your health, even physically? Because that becomes again a very critical element
Issue.
of it. Yeah.
Yes,
In
yes,
terms even of the mental health well-being. You
yes.
have to take up physical exercise for you to take care of your body. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because even here at Farm Hope, we do promote the idea of a holistic kind of living, and we look at the individual as part of a system.
Yeah.
And whatever the system is means that there are multiple parts. And so we strive to find out what is the main problem happening in this system that you find yourself in, and how can we identify and work on a treatment plan around that. So that's very true about if it's a physical, then maybe start that way and your mental health could improve. So that seems to be a very good point to make for everyone,
Yeah.
for all the men out there. So be something beyond just a provider,
Yeah.
yeah, and find that community. If it's not there, start it
Yeah.
yourself, right?
Mm.
Just like you have done, Mr. Odek. So, um, moving on, how can we support men better? And I'd like us to maybe look at it in 3 or 4 different aspects. So the first one is within families. How can parents, siblings, um, friends support men better?
I'll say the first thing to do from a wife's perspective
Mhm,
is to understand your man.
mhm,
As we've said, that he's a result of a system.
mhm,
And most of the time, you'll find that because relationship form a very big aspect of stressors in men. That's the reality.
That is true.
Yes.
Mhm, mhm,
So, and you'll find that at times it's not even communication or anything, just you don't understand his way of thinking, his perspective, his worldview.
mhm,
And because of that, you'll be putting some pressure on him. Yeah. So I'm saying that you need to understand him as a man first,
mhm,
so that in understanding you're able to pick out when things are not so okay.
mhm,
Yeah, you're able to know even when you notice something, because again you need to be observing, so that when you notice this person, he's sad,
mhm,
you're able to pick it out. So that calls you as a society to be attentive
mhm,
to this person. If you notice some certain habit that was not there, you're able to pick it up. Because again, if you're not observant, then that's how they will slide away slowly.
Yeah.
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 And again, just pay attention and listen. As women, you don't know how to listen. We need to learn how to listen.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So when he sits you down to listen, be attentive. Listen to him, and not with an aim to answer, because that's again become another whole,
Another issue.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like you're waiting atamuliza saa ngapi ndio nimpatie. You already have an answer in your mind. Yeah. You listen with that's objective, to listen and understand where he is, his frame of mind, what he's going through, and offer that empathy, so that you can be able to be a safe space for him and be able to support him in his wellness journey.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you.
I think for me, one of the things I can see in this, especially for families, create a safe space for the man in the house.
Mhm,
Okay, when they come home, already the battles they're fighting, either with their boss or with the colleagues out there, they've out in a matatu because the change was, they never given back their balance. Like
Uh-huh.
they've fought
Yeah.
already
Mhm.
outside there. Treat that home to be a safe space where they can come in and just relax.
Mhm.
Because okay, I always make fun of my wife.
Who's here, by the way?
There was a time when we would go home, when you're those days younger, you go home, you be asked, but she does this, she'll ask you how you feeling, how you doing, how are things. But there are people who even just the first text they receive, they know my wife just wants something. So it's
Yeah.
usually like there's no hi,
Uh,
is ukikuja nyumbani kuja na 1 2 3 4 5 6 7.
Mm.
Okay, so you don't even know what day that person has had. Okay,
Mhm.
just finding out because they want also men want to
Talk.
like to talk and just someone they know that I have someone who I can actually share my day with.
Mhm.
Okay, and
Mhm.
that gives them peace even to come home and joy and looking forward to them going home in the evening.
Mhm.
We just not make fun. There's a place where we used to live and we had a neighbor. He would come in at 4 p.m.
PM.
Oh.
Okay.
Then no 4 p.m. Then
Okay.
he'd
Okay.
park his car
Mm.
far away from
Okay.
his house.
Mm.
So when it gets to about 6, he'd move closer. And he's not going, he's staying in the car. Move closer to his,
The
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 gate.
gate.
Then he would go to the house at around 9. That's when
Oh.
he'd leave and go to his house.
Oh.
Okay.
Wow.
And you could see this, why the question is, why was this going
Yeah.
on? And clearly there's something that he was running
Running
away,
away
or
from
home was never a safe
safe
space.
Safe
space.
The
space.
car became his safe space. Okay. That he'd rather spend time in his car than with
Then
his
in the
family.
house.
Mm. Okay.
It's
Okay.
sad.
Sad
Mm.
and profound in a way in terms of understanding where these issues lie. And what about friends? Sometimes family and home in itself might not be the best place. And I think the next place to turn to, or the next set of people to turn to, would be friends. So how can both being a receiver and a giver of that friendship, how can friends check in meaningfully?
Yeah, I think Mr. Kevin had mentioned a lot about community because these
Yes.
friends represent the community.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's now having those friends that you share values with, friends that you're doing life together, people who you will be accountable to, people who are not afraid to ask the hard
Hard
questions.
questions, right?
It's like, hi, I've noticed you started drinking. What's happening?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those people will, and they're not just asking for the sake of asking. They actually mean it. And when they sit you down, they're doing it with an aim to help things make better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we all have seen friends who they're there probably for their own self-interest. Yeah, they
Yes,
really don't
yes,
mean well for you.
yes.
And even especially in men settings, I've seen some men who will be friends with you because they are eyeing your wife.
Ah,
You don't know it. Well, they're using
hey,
the
That's
long
true.
route.
yeah,
It's it's
yeah,
it's happened. You've
yeah,
had
true.
instances of that. So really surrounding yourself with genuine friendship,
Genuine
who
friends.
mean well for you,
Mm-hmm.
who you share the same interest with. Because
Mm-hmm.
again, you cannot be hanging out with drunkards and you do not believe that and
That's
expect that they will be
lifestyle.
the ones to to guide your life. Yeah. So for me, I'll say that's genuine group accountability and people who has your best interest at heart.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Mm.
important.
Mm-hmm.
I think for friendships, just as she said, genuine, but also I think this goes on the other side. When this person walks in, um, don't judge them, because I
Mm.
think there's always that judgmental face,
Mm.
especially when someone opens up and they're like, "Hey, I'm going through this." You're already like, "Where?" Yeah?
Mm.
But just the reason why they're sharing with you as a friend is because they know, you care.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you've given them that space to open up.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the day that we live in, there we have more fake friends than real friends.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Who the intent is not to help or to be there,
Mm.
but is to find reason,
Mm.
okay, to either shame you,
Mm-hmm.
okay, but not
Yeah.
to help you.
Not to help.
Mm.
Yeah.
And friendships need to change because longer those days, because you'd hear people say, I had friends from nursery school.
Yeah.
Do you know it's rare nowadays?
It's very
Quite
rare.
rare. Yes.
Why?
Mm.
It's because it's like things are changing, and you share your story with a friend, and then all of a sudden you're on
You
TikTok.
share yourself on
So,
TikTok.
so we
Oh
need
gosh.
to see the things differently and also understand that whoever is sharing this thing also has feelings. They're human. They're not perfect, but how I treat them or how I respond to them might push them to do something extreme.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant, and I think it covers it perfectly from the family to the friends. And we've talked about the community in general. At least nowadays, the stigma has reduced a bit, although we can continue pushing with the awareness, pushing with the talks, the discussions, especially the difficult ones, and strive for a healthier man, which means healthier families and healthier communities. But before we move on to the next, because I know you are both parents and you both have young boys, what, if any change needs to be made, or if you've noticed the differences in how boys were raised back then and how they need to be raised today? Either way, how can we be able to raise boys to become emotionally healthy and resilient men in today's day and age? Anyone can go first.
Because I have two. One who's very quiet and another one who's very outspoken. He says how it is.
Eh,
I think I'm learning both of them and trying to, be that friend that I know they can come to. And now, and even I think the change has been. I think when I grew up and had my own family, even how my dad, like the relationship shift that happened. Okay, where we mainly have we have conversations, and through that, my children are able to see. Okay, that by day it's okay to have this
conversations with
with
your
your
father.
dad and all that, but also being the safe space for my children, that when they're in their happy moments they're able to, they know dad is there. In their sad moments they know dad is there, and they can always come to dad. Okay, because there's a way you can be a parent where you're just parenting strict, know this, it's always this way.
Yeah.
But just creating that safe space, when they look at me they see a safety net. Okay, because usually they'll say the mother are the nurturers and the fathers, all those things. But again, as a father, you need to be, they need to see it from you as
To
well.
see the nurturing aspect as
Yes,
well.
where they can come to you at any time and they know anytime I call dad, he will do it. He will not ask me, those many questions. You know how you fear when, especially the worst thing I used to fear is being arrested and then calling my dad. But I'd want my children, when they're arrested, they can actually call me and be like, this is the mess I'm in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that will definitely build trust.
Yes.
Yes, a lot of trust. I like what you said about being a friend. I think that's a whole other discussion about parents, children, and friendship.
Friendships,
Can parents be friends with their children? Can
Yeah.
children be friends with their parents? I think I mentioned that in another forum, and one parent just said, "But I'm the parent." What's
So I agree. There's,
friendship?
there's parenting,
Yeah.
but also
Yeah.
there's a level of friendship
Friendship,
that you can
yes.
create. They still know you as their parent. You've not lost
Yes,
their
yes, yes,
respect.
of course.
Okay, but they can count on you. They can always,
Mm.
it's really sad when you tell it, you ask your child, who do you run to in terms of trouble? They're always pointing at someone else.
Yeah.
You might think you're doing a good job, okay, that they have someone, but who should be being a pastor? Parents are supposed to be the disciple, you disciple your
The
children.
children.
And when you think about discipleship, is also there's friendship in it.
Mhm.
It's relational.
Mm.
Okay, so the moment we remove the relational bit, we just want to be these parental
Want to be
figures,
law and order.
or law and order. Then we're missing out on a very big part,
Yeah,
and
of
that's
your child
relationship.
life. Yeah.
Because these children will grow up.
Mm.
Okay, they'll grow up, they'll be adults,
Yes.
they'll
Then
have their own
what?
families.
Yeah.
Will still look at you because you can't come with rules on them.
Yeah.
Okay, so will they look at you and be like, yeah, I can still go to my dad and ask him, oh, I'm in this mess, there's this loan, let's talk up and see how we can, yeah.
Wow. that's a whole other conversation,
Yeah.
parenting and children.
And
But
children.
Miss
Yeah.
Lois, how about you and your son?
Well, as Mr. Kevin has just said, it's really very much on creating that safe space. Yeah, creating the safe space for that child to know that it's okay. It doesn't matter what you have done. You can come to me. Yeah, and you'll find that for you to create that space. Yeah, for me, I see it in the element of when you have that conversation with this child. How do you leave them feeling?
Mm,
Yeah, maybe he was running around and he broke this glass. How did you react to that situation? Yeah, if you left him feeling some sort of fear, some sort of anxiety, some negative kind of
yes.
emotions. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so next time, that what will happen if he breaks this glass and you're not around, he's likely to hide it. Yeah, but depending on how you handle that situation, how you parented him at that point, then it begins either to create that space, and the boy then draws near to you, and you find that he's able and willing to open up to you.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that is very important, yeah, is the modeling aspect of
Yeah.
it. As is mentioned, that the boys can see the relationship you're having with your father. Modeling is everything in children's
Yes,
life.
it is.
Even with the way we are ourselves, is what we saw being presented. It's not about much of what was told, or we were told you're supposed to be A, B, C, D. It's what we saw. We saw that a man is supposed to behave like this, yeah. So modeling really forms a very big part. Then that means that how you carry yourself in the house as the man of the house, he's likely to be just like you. That's a reality.
Wow.
If you're
Yeah.
the man who goes shouting at his wife, he will say, "Oh, this is how
How
I'm
it has
supposed to
to
behave
be.
as a man." So that's how it's going to be like. But if you parent him in the way that you wish, in terms of the proper values and the proper system, then that's exactly the boy you're raising out there. Yeah. So that safe space, that modeling, and that's changing that narrative of boys should not go to the kitchen and wash dishes. Yeah. And the best thing to do that is washing them with him,
Wash the dishes with them.
cooking that food with him. Yeah. And that's how we change that
Mm-hmm.
narrative. So really it's about the modeling for me. And again, that's creating that space is very
I
important.
see, I see.
Mhm.
Wow. Very insightful. At least now I know what to do in the future when if at all I become a father. So yeah, that has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you very much. But before I let you go, I want to hear some closing remarks from you. I'd just like you to leave us with something to think about, something to reflect about, especially for the men. And first, Mrs. Lois, what is one thing our Kenyan society should do differently?
I'll say we continue creating that mental awareness. Let the campaigns keep rolling in. Let us come up with more inventive and new ways to make sure that we're getting the information out there, and not just the information, the proper and right information. And then I'm also thinking that even as we make it out there, that's why we are reaching all people, because looking at the current trends where information is mainly available online, what about people who are not online? What about men who are in the rural areas who still have life challenges that they have to face? So how then do we get this information up to them? And secondly, is being able to open up our spaces like Farm Hope to be able to help them to seek that support when they need. Yeah, and even us as a society, let's be more understanding, let's be more compassionate, let's listen, let's be attentive so that we can be able to pick on anything that needs to be picked upon. But to the men out there, we as a society, we need you.
Thank you.
We
Thank you.
need you
Glad
very
to know
much.
that I'm needed. Glad to know for a second. I was
Yeah.
wondering.
We love you.
Mhm.
Yeah. And our desire is that you can be able to be at your optimum, at your best mental wealth, because you are our leaders. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Mrs. Lois. That was powerful. Now to you, Mr. Odek. What is one message of hope for all the men, young boys struggling in one way or another?
Um, just as Ms. Lusa said, you're loved. Um, the society, or we need you to be well as men. And so you sharing does not mean you're weak. It's actually a sign of, when you say you need help, is you saying, yeah, I know what I'm going through, and it's just a sign of strength to say I need help. So don't die alone. No, don't be in isolation. There's a whole generation that is looking up to you.
Yes.
And so with the decision you make, changes impact will be made. So don't look at yourself less. Look at yourself as someone of value to this society,
Yes.
and you're loved by the people around you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mrs. Loise. Thank you very much, Mr. Odek.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Today's conversation reminds us that mental health is not just for women or for children or even just for men. It's a human issue. We just happen to be focusing on the men for this month. The more we create spaces for such conversations, the healthier the individuals, the healthier the families, and the healthier the communities. Thank you very much to my guests for today. Thank you very much for the viewers for listening, for tuning in. We invite you to future episodes, Farm Hope projects and Farm Hope services. You can find us at Membli Riru. You can also contact the numbers on your screen and have a look at our website that will be in the description below. And we hope to interact with you more. And we hope that we can see you live out your authentic self. See you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.